Hey folks, how you doing? Papa Joe here. Well, I am at my receiver. I'm Lordy, 11 hours early, but that's all good. I'm supposed to be here at 6 a.m. is what I was told. I see the sign over there says shipping and receiving 6 a.m. to noon. So I don't know if I was lied to about having an appointment or not. However, I chose to come on in here. I called and talked to them, made sure there was a place to park. There is. I have been here before. I didn't remember it until I was driving up and seen the building. So everything should be kosher. I got here, did my log stuff and whatnot, warmed me up some dinner. Just ate the last of my meatballs and noodles. That was some good stuff. I'll be home this weekend. I don't know if I'm getting home tomorrow night or Saturday morning. It's going to depend upon how tomorrow goes. Welcome to trucking. I'm going to be about an hour to 2 hours short, probably an hour or less short of getting to the house. If everything goes perfect. It's trucking. What's the odds of everything going perfect? Not real good. So I'll be 1 to 2 hours away from the house more than likely when I run out of hours. I might get lucky and make it all the way in. I ain't counting on it. Those meatballs, I'd started making a video about them last week, and me and Mama got so busy and we couldn't finish them. Finish the videos. I tell you what, they was good, and I'm very tempted to make another batch of them for two reasons. One, to get you a video of them, and two is they was good. I wouldn't mind eating a couple more dishes of it next week. So me and Mama would discuss what we're going to do, and might just do that right there again. Right now I'm working on paperwork, and I was sitting here doing it, and I decided to bring you in on it. Now, some of you already know how to do trucking paperwork, so you're going to get bored. See ya. Because I know you ain't going to want to watch me doing mine. You got your own to do. Some of you don't know how to do it, so you might find it a little bit interesting. So, let me bring you up to par where I'm at. This is what we use. So, now it asks you for your truck number. Asks you for a trailer number. And I always tell them one of each. No, I'm joking. I have my truck number and trailer number 164. It asks you for load numbers. Now, it's going to depend upon your company on where you get those numbers from. Now, I have a cheat sheet that was used for my original load. And we have what's called a run number. The manufacturer puts that out. And that's what I use on these loads. Now, this cheat sheet here, it lists, and there's 3 pages to this one. It lists every pallet that was in the trailer. And it tells me pallet 1, pallet 2, pallet 3. I mean, literally, you can see it on there. And it tells me where they're going to. So, and then on the pallets back there, they have marked 1, 2, 3, for drops back there. This is a pallet count. That's a drop count marked back there. So where this one is saying in Nash, 1, 2, 3 pallets going to Nash, Texas, I will have 3 pallets back there with the number 1 on them. And I've been doing this over a year. I have not caught them in a mistake yet. I have tried. So this will also, instead of you having to fumble with the bills and stuff, you can look at this and see where you're going. Some of them's already saved in my GPS, some ain't. So that's my cheat sheet. And there's where I got my number at. Now then, we'll go back to this. If you will notice, it says point, loaded point, yard, because I picked my load up at the yard. Somebody, our local drivers, go and pick these up. Then it asked for delivered. Well, on mine I had 7 drops, so I did 7 drops. It asked for a date. When did you deliver them? And I delivered the first 5 on the 19th, 2 more this morning. Then I went to pick up this load. Now also, if you will notice, I ran out of spaces. So down here there isn't one. Our company don't mind if we only have 1 load, my cheat sheet fell, to go ahead and just write it in down here. So that's where I wrote in this one I picked up. I picked it up in Arlington, Texas. I brought it up here to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I put the date. So I just keep in columns with everything else. And I have been known to put 2 down there. I really try not to do that, but I have done that. So they want load numbers. My load number for this load, now I told you where I got the one for the main load coming out. The load number for this one that I've got now is normally you will get a pickup number, and that's what I will use. If I don't get a pickup number, I will use the bill of lading number. It's going to depend upon your company. They will fine-tune these instructions. About time to turn some lights on before you start thinking I'm in the dark. Alright, now the next thing that we have to do is our miles in each state. What this will ask for is your state. We do exiting miles. That gets a little confusing until you get used to it. But I'm in Oklahoma. Now here they want the routes that we entered the state and exited the state on. Now leaving our yard, it was real simple. It was 412. That's where our yard is. I did 1 mile. There was my mileage at the yard, and there was my mileage when I crossed into Arkansas. So I did 1 mile, and that was on 412. Now then, for Arkansas, you see I did 412 entering the state, and when I exited the state, I was on 71. So there's 71, the enter and the exit highways. There's the mileage that I entered the state in, which should be the same as the exit miles. And you see here it says enter and exit. So the same exit miles will be this enter mile here. Then when I exited the state into Texas, there's my miles there. So I did 262 miles in Arkansas. So now I'm going to continue with that, and I'm going to write these all down, and then I'll be back with you in a few minutes. So let me pause you. That was a short pause. I haven't done this yet. This is my notebook, and what I do, if you can see it, I write down the state and my exiting mile. So here it says the yard. Well, let's go with this one that I'm on now, which is down here. There was my mileage on the yard, and there's where I exited Oklahoma into Arkansas, 1 mile. I don't write that 1 mile or nothing. So yard, mileage. Left Oklahoma, mileage. Now we'll flip on over here. Now I told you I left Oklahoma, went into Arkansas. Well, there's Arkansas, where I left Arkansas, mileage. Texas, mileage. Arkansas, mileage. Louisiana, mileage. Texas, mileage. So the next one I'll write down will be yard, which will be Oklahoma, mileage. So I won't be able to totally complete this tonight, but that's how I keep track of my mileage for this. Now, let me go ahead and do that. I wanted to tell you that while I was thinking about it and show you this. I'll be back. Alright, back with me again. Now then, what I have done, lay that clipboard aside. what I've done is I ran out all of these, and I put my miles over here. I'm looking at this backwards in the tablet. I ain't used to that. Over here you'll see a little bitty number. That's where I added all these miles up. All those there equals that, which is 986. Now down here on the bottom, they ask for the miles leaving the yard and returning to the yard. Alright. Now I don't have the return miles yet for when I get to the yard. So what I did is, this is where I've stopped. I did my subtraction from this one and this one, and they came up to the same as that. So I know I'm on track. So when I get to the yard tomorrow, all I have to do is write in this mileage, figure out how many miles I ran in this state, add that to this, and I'll put it right down here. Same thing over here. I know everything is correct to this point. So when I get to the yard, I'll put that down here, double check these, and then I write my number underneath there. There's not a space for it, but I do it just so that the girls know that I did check my math. And many a time you'll be off 1 or 2 or 5 miles or something. I'm not turning that into the girls and expecting them to find my mistake. It was my record keeping and my paperwork. I need to be the one to find the mistakes on it. So I have once, since I've been here, where I was off like 3 miles, and I double checked everything and I couldn't find it, and I was frustrated. I turned that one in with 3 miles wrong. The girls never said anything to me. One time you do something like that, they're not going to shoot you. Most companies. So that's the front of it. Now on the back is what you call the expense record. Alright, you got a date over here for whatever you did. Then you've got a column here to write in whatever place you did it, you know. Let's just use fuel. I fueled, so I'll put the date here. We fuel at Love's, so I'll write Love's there. Then they ask for how many gallons. Then they want to know how much it cost in dollars. Then over here, they want to know where you bought it at. So, you know, I would say today, Love's, 100 gallons, $200 at Tulsa. Now that didn't really happen, I'm just telling you. Now they also have on here, now we can put our cat scales where we weigh our wagon, we can put that on our fuel card. We do not have to register that, record that on here. They have it on their computer billing and stuff. But if I have to buy DEF on the road, and that does happen, we usually try to fuel DEF at our yard. They said the price is drastically different. So we try to fill our DEF tanks at the yard and only put enough on out here to get us back to the yard. Lumper. I ain't had to pay a lumper in a long time. I think since I've been here I've paid 2 of them. Truck expense. That's if you have to buy oil, antifreeze, any kind of stuff like that, anti-gel for your tanks, bungee, bungee cords and stuff I guess would go under miscellaneous. Scales and tolls. Now we have quite a bit of toll stuff in the window. Very rarely do you have to pay a toll. Michael had to pay one out in California, going into Gay Bay area out there, I think it was. And it was like 40 bucks. It was stupid money. Scales, although we can put them on our card, that's only at Love's. Last time I picked up from this place that I picked up now, I didn't know them that well. The load wasn't really filling right, and yes, as a driver you will get to be able to fill stuff, and there was a cat scale within 5 miles, so I went over to that cat scale and I weighed out, and I did the same thing. I put the date, the name, I think it was Big D's, And I went over here under scales. I wrote $11 and Arlington, one of them type deals. And we will carry all that down through here. We can get advances if we so desire. So then how many advances did you get? How much did you spend on the truck? So that's these here added together, which is normally 0. And then the difference between the two. And most companies have something like that. Like I said, once again, if you're with one of the big mega companies, you don't even need to be watching this, because they micromanage you so much that you don't have to think. So, with that being said, let me do my fuel. I know I got 2 fuels. See, now that's something else. Now, I fueled twice today. I ran to Anna, Texas, and, well, before I got to Anna, it was weird. Let's back up to this morning. Before I left that truck stop I spent last night at, my fuel gauge was showing a half a tank. Now, I've done punched in the numbers and stuff. I'm good to Anna. That'll work. So, I had to go 18 miles, I think it was. Then there was another 7 miles, so that's 25. Then back, so that's 35, 43. I drove less than 50 miles. And that dadgum fuel gauge went from a half a tank down to a quarter. Less than 50 miles brought me right back to the truck stop I'd spent the night at. I have stopped and put some fuel on. I knew where I was going. I knew it was going to be heavy. So I only put on about 75 gallons. So I drove up there to Arlington. I got loaded. I stopped in Anna to scale out, because this is like the 3rd time I think that I've actually picked up over there. And they're heavy, but they're legal. So I went ahead and took a gamble and I ran to Anna. If I'd been over Groves, I'd had a problem. I wasn't. But from Anna, just right up the road a good little piece, half hour maybe, is Oklahoma Scales. Well, I could have put fuel on in Anna. I chose not to. It's a personal preference that I weigh as little as possible crossing a scale house, because I think if you're lighter, they don't look at you as hard. So I did not fuel there. Then I got across into Oklahoma, got through them scale houses, and yeah, they was busting some butt up there today. They're on 75. So I got past them. They was harassing some drivers inside. I don't know what over, don't care. They hardly even looked at their screen, and they hit the green button. Now, if I'd been up there when I scaled out, my trailer was 33,864 or 860 something. That's real close to the 34,000 that I'm allowed to have back there. My drives were 31 and change, less than 32. So I moved a little bit of that weight from the trailer onto the drives. So now they're a little bit closer to balance. I did not reweigh. I knew I was good. So, and that made it good enough that when I hit that scale, I was over 1,000 pounds underweight on both of those axles, on the drives and on the trailer. They let me go. Now I got on up to Okmulgee, and I knew I was going to be spending the night here, so I stopped there, got me some donuts and milk for breakfast, my coffee in a can for in the morning, stuff like that. Bought me 2 more of these shirts. They had some more of these shirts on. So I have, I think, 4 different colors. So you'll be seeing a lot of these kind of shirts. And that was like 45 miles from here. So then I went ahead and topped off both tanks. I knew I did not have any scales between there and here to worry about. I know tomorrow is going to be a bear. Like I said, don't know if I'll get home. It's going to depend upon a lot of stuff. So I'm trying to set myself up for tomorrow. So I went ahead and filled totally up, so I don't have to worry about doing that tomorrow. And I came on in here. Rabbit trail, I guess. I got more paperwork to do. Let me work on this a little bit more, and I'll show you the rest of the story. I'll be back. Alright, another little rabbit trail right quick. No, I ain't done the fuel receipts yet. For those of you that don't know, this is what you hear me referring to as a cat scale. And if you see, it's got a picture of a cat. That's the logo for the cat scale company. Now let's see if you can see my weights here. Hopefully they're not backwards for you. This is not working, so let me move that for a minute. Now let me go ahead and educate some of y'all on these scales, on these weights. Alright, can you see that? Now this top one, would you stay on my way? This top one is 11,940. That is my steers. The front two up there hooked to the steering wheel. That's what we call steers. You're allowed normally 12,000 pounds. The boss has our truck set up, and it all depends upon what kind of tires you run and all that stuff. We are legal to run 14,000 up there. We're set up where my truck is set up, where I'm always pretty close right there at that 11,940, give or take 2 or 3. Well, I've never went over the 12,000. I could, but I never have. So I'm usually between 11.7 and 11.9 and 40. Okay, this next number, which is 31,940. You see that? That is my 2 axles on the back of this tractor, on the back of this truck. That's called our drives. I am allowed 34,000 back there. And as you can see, I have 31,940. So I'm 2,060 pounds underweight. Alright? Now then, on this last number here, or next to the last number, which is 33,880. That is my trailer. That 2 axles on my trailer back there. That's what they're called, is trailer axles. And it's 33,880. So you see I'm 120 pounds underneath what I'm allowed there. 120 to me isn't much. So I moved my pins. We can slide those axles on the trailer. That's how we adjust weight. I slid them and took a little bit of this off of the 33,880, and I put it up there on that 31,940. That's what I was talking about a while ago. So this whole truck with I weighed 77,760 pounds. I'm allowed to weigh 80,000. So I was 2,240 pounds underweight. So I was doing good. I had never showed y'all one of these before. Like I said, for truckers, this is boring stuff. Now then, if you're a new driver or coming out here to be a driver, if you go getting your scale ticket, and normally you're over on either the second number or the third number, either on your drives, which is the back ones on the truck, or on your trailer. Now you have to slide that trailer axles back there, the tandems. The best way to remember on what direction, because a lot of people get real confused, wherever your problem is, you slide the tandems towards the problem. In my case, my problem was I was real close on this trailer. So I slid the trailer tandems back. A lot of people, this is why I keep saying, you got to keep stuff simple out here. Some people are like, well, are you sliding the trailer or the tandems? Or Always think of it as one point, and that's the axles are what slides. You move the wheels towards the problem. So for me to move the wheels towards this problem, I do what I got to do, pull my pins, blah, blah, blah. I put it in drive, and I pulled the truck forward, which made the trailer tandems go backwards towards this. And I moved it 3 holes. That was just enough. Now, if I'd had a problem on the drives, on that second line, I would have did everything the same, except what would I have done? I would have moved the trailer tandems towards the problem. My problem is the drive. So that means the trailer axles need to come forward. For them to come forward, I have to put the truck in reverse and back up a little bit. That's just how it works. So there's your little lesson on sliding tandems and catscale tickets. Now with that, let me get on my fuel report. Okay, now then. Get that out of the way for a minute. I fueled twice, both times today. So I put my dates at the Loves. I wrote in the gallons. Now for us, they want us to tally them down here. So for this trip, I bought 209 gallons, 6.629. Then you write in your fuel, the dollar amount, and you total it. So I burnt $534.35. Then there's both places that I fueled. If you'll notice, you don't see that cat scale on here that I was just teaching you about. That's because I bought it with my Loves card. So they have record of it. They don't want us to put it on here. Only cat scales I put on here, or any scales that I put on, because there are others than cats, is the ones I paid for out of pocket that I need to be reimbursed for. Now that's the gist of it. All that's left is to fill in that and that, and my totals. So I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things to do. And when I get to the yard. With that being said, I will take these, get my notebook out of the way. This is my bill of lading for where I'm at. I don't want them in there yet. They will go in here tomorrow. So I take all these bill of ladings, that's them 7 drops that we listed. I take this stuff right here and I put it in this envelope. This was actually an envelope we was writing on. I try to make my paperwork as simple as I can for the girls in the office. It has been my experience, you don't want to make the girls that do payroll mad at you. The same girl that do this is the same girl that does our payroll. I don't want her mad at me. Tanya, love you, sweetheart. It's done right. So with that is done. So until I get to the yard. There's my bill of lading for in the morning. Here's my clipboard. And it all goes right back on my clipboard and on my desk. That's what I call that seat over there, is my desk. That, my good people, was how we do our paperwork. So I hope I didn't just bore you to death. Hope some of y'all learned a little something. There it is. Now, if you are driving for one of the big companies right now where you don't have to do that, remember, one day you might quit. So there's some stuff that I have put up here, like how to do your logs, stuff like that, how to do paperwork. I wouldn't just totally disregard it. I would watch it. If you made it this far, you already did, right? I would watch those videos and keep them in the back of your brain. And then if you get put in a predicament where you need to do any of that stuff, Remember, the video should always be there unless YouTube decides to delete more of my videos. Hey, that's a simple paperwork. Y'all remember, God loves you, and so do I. Have a blessed evening. Good night.